Hello everyone, it's Matt here from Scoop in Response. Today we've got something a bit different. I'm joined by good friend of the channel and good friend IRL, Dougs on Twitch. How you doing, man?
Hey Matt, very well, thank you, and a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Dougs, today we're going to be playing a few rounds of some of our favorite formats. But I guess first of all, you able to give me a bit of a rundown on, I guess, your stream, what greensunzenith.com is and everything like that.
Yeah, so I stream a lot of Legacy, and I usually stick to FedEx, usually either something like Death and Taxes, or a green-white deck like Maverick or green-white Depths. And greensunzenith.com is a platform dedicated to the Legacy Maverick archetype for anyone wanting to get into the deck as a beginner, or anyone who has a few reps of the deck but wants to get a little bit more sort of just digestible content and sort of some tips and tricks they might not know about.
Sweet.
There's also a section for the green, white, and Naya Depths list, which has probably become more popular in the last 12 months, but it kind of came to fruition during the Red and Six era, and has kind of evolved since then.
Sweet. Well, I mean, you've definitely been getting the reps in on your stream with those depths lists recently, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. Had some good guests on as well. Jono Yannick, aka Dreadnought 33, who actually won a Legacy Challenge about a month ago. With Naya Depths is a pretty big regular, which is cool.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, it's a great deck to grind leagues with, especially with kind of a good mid range plan, but also just a backdoor win of Dark Depths.
Yeah,
And yeah, I find it pretty popular, so it's
very
been
cool.
pretty good.
So the I guess fortunate or unfortunate, depending on how you want to look at it, is you and I tend to play a lot of tabletop Magic together locally, whether it's Legacy or Highlander. So we have to deal with some very high caliber players with some people like yourself. So I have absolutely no I guess illusions that I'm going to get my ass handed to me for the Legacy portion of today. But hopefully we have a bit of fun playing some 7 point. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
it should be really fun. I get luckier than others. What can I say?
So humble, so humble.
No. But yeah, no, I mean, Highlander is also just a really good format that I think is great for people who want to get that kind of legacy or even vintage-esque power level without putting a ton of money towards the format. Obviously, being a singleton format, you still need to acquire, one of jewels and maybe some power, but not having to find, the playset of Underground Seas or Volcanic Islands is a pretty big incentive. And once you have those kind of format staples, it's not too hard to transition into other decks or archetypes because you are playing with a lot of commons and uncommons, or rares from standard sets of far that have gone down to just the kind of multi-dollar price instead of the hundreds of dollars.
Absolutely. It's funny, I remembered when I first started playing Magic, a very long time ago, 2.5 years. I remember because I started on Arena, and I remember finding out one day that Shocklands weren't just like one wild card of value. Shocklands were like $20. And I thought that was ridiculous. And I said, I'm never going to get Shocklands. And then I saw Fetchlands. I thought, I'm never going to get Fetchlands. They just seem ridiculous. They're even worse than Shocklands for value. You don't even get to do anything with them. And now I'm about I think I need two to complete my Highlander set of OG Jewels now, and it's
Very
it's just
nice.
funny how the mighty fall so quickly.
That's the Magic journey. I started in 2013 with Return to Ravnica for Standard, and I was very much the Standard player who was like, I'll never play Modern, I'll never play Legacy, and then I became the Modern player who would never play Legacy, would never play Standard again, and then I'm the Legacy player who would never play Standard again, and I think Modern's coming around, but yeah, it's pretty funny how the journey goes once you start really
Definitely.
understanding the power level of Magic and the depth of the cards and the different communities involved with the different formats. It's pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely relate to that. It feels like I've just turboed my way through all of these formats and arriving at that holy trinity of 7 point, of Legacy and of Modern being the the three that I spend most time with. But yeah, all
Yeah.
right. I will flick you through a challenge now, and we can get stuck into our first game of Legacy.
Should be fun. Is this our first game of Legacy on MTGO?
I believe so. I think... actually, I'm not even sure if we've really played that much Magic on MTGO, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe just a few Highlander sessions. Now, I'm playing a deck that I've never actually piloted in real life, so I don't know how.
What do you look for in an opening hand for a Legacy deck?
I can go one step further behind that and say that typically I look for a deck that has a lot of 4-ofs before I even think about that part of it. Just because I find there's so many toolbox decks in Legacy that just bamboozle me with the amount of just 1-ofs and 2-ofs that they have, and yeah, it can be quite daunting as someone who loves playing Modern, where you have 4-ofs everything if you just can, and some lands. I'm going to allow you to cast your signature card there.
Yeah, I think a pretty nice start for me with Flagstones and Mox with Elvish Reclaimer. Obviously with the synergy between Flagstones and Elvish Reclaimer being pretty nice of ramping.
Yeah, absolutely. So I always get confused about which decks are Wasteland decks and which ones aren't, but I think we just have to play it a bit safe here.
Nice.
We're main phasing it because I have no idea what flavor you're on now. I don't know you to play Force of Wills much, but who knows? You know, I could just get dazed or something like that. Oh yeah, redundancy. That's always nice. And you've got the Flagstones out as well, so you can be ramping for days.
Yeah, which is pretty nice. And it's funny you say that because I guess in a way the ramp of Flagstones allows me to play around days in later turns. Which is
yeah, absolutely. Okay. We better not have 6 because we can always have blue cards with our blue mana. So even if I'm not going to stop you from doing things. So this is the one that protection. Okay. Oh, I've been got so bad by that card before. Lost games when I could have main phased or just upkeeped certain things. That one's a bit of a salty card for me.
Yeah, Step can really get people, especially in green-white depths where typically you play 2. And a lot of players aren't really up to speed with the deck playing 2. A lot of decks like green-black depths, which used to see a lot more play, just played the 1-of Step. But yeah, having 2 in the deck is really, really nice. It means you can kind of save one for your combo and then also have one for your creatures during your turns when you're trying to get towards that Marilage.
Yeah, that's fair. Alright, what am I thinking here? We don't want that. We don't really want that either. Like, I feel like my life total is basically nothing, or it's either 21 or 1, basically.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. It's kind of like Infect, where it doesn't really matter if you're at 16 or 6 against this deck. A lot of the time it's, are you going to live through a hit for 20?
Yes.
Go and get stage.
Yep. It becomes scary.
Cool. I'm just going to pass back.
You know what? We do actually need to get rid of those top 2 cards, so we're going to do it.
Endurance. Okay. Yeah. I was listening to the Canadian Threshold the other day, which is a podcast by three Canadians,
Yep.
um, and they were discussing sort of proxies and sort of proxy events for Legacy as the format gets a little bit harder to get into. And they were discussing a store that kind of gives away like gift cards that are like a proxy Underground Sea. So you could buy like a playset of Underground Seas that are actually like, you know, $10 each in store credit. But you can use them as Underground Seas in the store for like non-registered events, which is pretty
That's
sweet.
very cool.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to try to get around like just allowing proxies and not really making anything from the store, but B, having like a good way to use things. Getting back source to part shares. Okay.
We nearly hit the shuffle button. Right, so
Endurance, an awesome card. I think on the field here we have the two best green creatures printed in the last, I'm going to say 5 years.
big call.
I know Newton, who a lot of Legacy Elves fans will know of, and a lot of Legacy players will know of, says Elvish Reclaimer is right now the most powerful creature in Legacy.
I mean, I do love me a Reclaimer. It's certainly a great card. Even in Modern, it's fun. I wish there was more like support for that kind of deck, which is funny considering it's a Valakut and Ren and 6 format. But Elvish Reclaimer doesn't really get any play.
Yeah, which is tough. I remember FP Pauls did a lot of work around like a green-white kind of ramp style deck in Modern with like Flagstones and Reclaimers, and it kind of pipped out at prime time for Field of the Dead. But I think since Field is gone, it doesn't really have that in game.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Like even with Urza Saga now in Modern for Reclaimer, like being able to sack it with the triggers on the stack is just mental that it's like not good enough, or it's just too dirtily or too slow. So I've got to think about how you want to be doing this. So you want to be getting rid of stuff. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. So you pay your 2 mana to sack something. The Depths comes back and then you copy it. And I can't remember what Marit Lage has protection from and all of that, but...
So Marit Lage is a 2020 flying indestructible black creature.
Okay.
I believe it is an avatar.
So my swords will deal with it.
Correct.
Alright, let's just... hit ya.
Interesting. Okay.
Okie dokie. Interesting.
Dragon. Okay.
I love these
Dragon
cards.
making its way into the format. Yeah, through Jason and XJ working on Legacy Death and Taxes, which is really cool, playing around with the Yorion version, and finding that Timeless Dragon is just a really nice way to make sure you hit your third land, and also just having a threat that can come in from the graveyard, kind of turns on your graveyard as a resource. It can't be countered, of course, because it Eternalizes and actually casting the spell, which is pretty cool. So you see some pretty mad like standstill players who can't really understand why this 5/5 is allowed to come into play underneath a standstill, which is pretty funny.
It's the other list that I was looking at was a standstill list, but I thought, as fun as that looks, I'm gonna butcher it, and I don't think I can bring myself to being so shameful towards honest, fair, good, God-fearing Magic players.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Especially with a deck like Depths. Like, I'm pretty happy just to play out lands and get there through that.
Far out, I can't remember how this one works. I've just had a spaz. There we go. 1.
Interesting. Oh, this is the interesting part. Okay.
The tension is building, Dougal.
I think now's a pretty good time to try to go for it. Pretty cool combo. For those of you who are watching this unaware of how this kind of works, is that Dark Depths is a card that comes in with 20 counters on it, or 10 counters, I should say. And when those counters are removed, Dark Depths triggers and sees that there's no counters on there. And if it does, you can create a Merit Lage by sacrificing it and getting a 20/20 indestructible flyer, which is pretty sweet. And Thespian Stage is a land that can copy other lands. And if you copy Dark Depths with Thespian Stage, it hasn't entered play, so it doesn't enter with the counters. So it becomes a copy of Dark Depths with no counters on it and instantly triggers. So if you have a Stifle, Stifle the ability of Thespian Stage trying to copy Dark Depths, not the ability where the Thespian Stage is kind of triggering because it has no counters on, because it will just trigger again. This is going to be green, green, blue up. Pro white. Dress down. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Yeah, nice.
Okay, I was not actually sure if that was going to work. If like the protection being applied to it would like disrupt the effect before the resolution of it. So I wasn't sure if that was going to happen or not. So
that was really nice, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Library.
I think we just make this go away. Because
nice, yeah.
we don't want you to dig yourself out from the hole that we've given you.
Yeah, especially from like having 35 life there is really nice. And it's kind of a nice way of having like Sylvan Library in the deck against decks that have a Source Plowshares.
That one and that one. Yeah. All right, now we just need 10 more upkeeps. Sorry, 10 more turns. Alright, so we'll put that on top. Put that on top. I'm probably committing a cardinal sin here by putting a brainstorm back onto my deck. Okay. Okay, that one, that one, that one. Can I undo those? No.
I don't believe so.
That's a shame. Okay. Ah, of course, you, I guess we're just gonna hardcast this. I'm gonna...
Nice. He'll untap first. Okay. Interesting.
We kind of forgot that our graveyard disappeared. I nearly just jumped phases there. That would have been embarrassing.
Yeah, you can definitely get caught out in empty geo, which is pretty tough. Where's the shuffle?
Oh no, the beats. Just gonna keep feeding you.
Thank you.
Well, that's a draw that would have been nice.
Interesting.
We probably could have tapped our mana a bit better there and had a... Oh well, wouldn't have mattered. Oh no.
Interesting. Yep. Oh, because you obviously attack with both creatures, so I feel like you have something. But I feel like if I do nothing here, then I'm not really putting myself in a position to win the game.
It's fair.
All right.
Let's spin the wheels again.
Sylvan Library is really strong here. Because if you're not finding gas, you're probably finding a way to shuffle at least, like a ponder or a fetch land.
Absolutely. It's a big one.
Yeah, she's pretty big. I've presented lethal.
So many extra triggers with
With library in play?
yeah, and Loam.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like these sort of decks are very easy to time out with in like sort of the long grindy games on MTGO. A lot of the matches against sort of band control or four color control that I play against online usually get down to the red for both players and can come to a pretty tough position where it comes down to literally time. This is really tough because like another endurance, of course, is just like brutal, but
yeah,
I'd rather see if I can just put you on a clock. Like, there's no great way to play around endurance other than having like double fetch in play. Yeah, and we'll just scoop it there.
That's fair. So the namesake of the deck we saw once, it was swiftly dealt with. It's nice to play a deck with Uro again that has more than one at least.
Yeah, definitely.
So thinking about sideboard, if we get into situations where you've got multiple Dryad Arbors again, we can bring in Izzet Staticaster. That would be really good. You don't play blue, so there's no Pyroblasts, there's no Carpet of Flowers, there's no Red Elemental Blasts. I think the only things we want to do... Artifacts. Do you play any artifacts? I haven't seen any. That would be silly. I think we just bring in some endurances And maybe another Besiege You. The flyer seemed like it was relevant. What's our bloody... What do we trim? I don't like expressive iteration as a card or a concept. So that can go away. All right. Brainstorm's a terrible card, so we'll bin that one. I don't know what my final cut is. It's probably that. I think it's that. Although with 3 less blue cards now, that's maybe questionable.
I'm gonna mulligan this hand. Okay.
I think I keep this. It's not like a snap keep, but I think it's functional. Okay, so unless there's some funky shit that I don't know about, I don't think... Oh, these are all good. Oh, excuse me if that just went straight into your...
Is that a yawn?
That was a sneeze.
Oh.
Sounded like me just saying yumcha. I think Life from the Loam is quickly becoming one of my absolute favorite cards.
Yeah, especially with Besiege You in the format. It's a great way to get extra uses out of that card.
There's a deck in Modern called Assault Loam, and it's just ridiculous, but amazingly fun.
Is it playing the 3 like red mana enchantment?
That's the one, Seismic Assault.
Okay.
And because Ren and 6 is in the format, you play Ren and 6, Seismic Assault, the new hotness Slogurk.
Yeah, that's cool.
And, okay, now I gotta think about this. This feels weird, but... Feels very scary to tap out versus you when you've got like, oh, you've got no green mana, so you can't like crop rotation into something, but... If I attack the wasteland, does it lose targeting? Oh, you suppose you could copy the flagstones and then it goes away, couldn't you? Yeah, okay, we won't do that. It's not quite our first rodeo. Another one.
Yeah. Sadly, sometimes the keeps with no green isn't the greatest, but sometimes it pans out.
Totally fair. This doesn't feel great. But I feel like you wouldn't have let me get the value out of it. if you had it. We don't feel wonderful about our situation, but we can take one hit with a Marit Lage, so I think that's worth something.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Now, if you're watching the video and you're wondering why I would pitch a Brainstorm when I have a Snapcaster Mage that can cast nothing in my graveyard, it's because I'm bad at this format. Okay. I guess we do the attacky. No. Jace is another card that took me a long time to get hot on.
Yeah, Jace has definitely got me out of some pretty nice situations especially in Modern. Especially when Malira and Jace are in the same format. I remember like my opponent going to 1,000,000 life, but it not really mattering because I was able to just Jace ulti.
Yes, the best. Library removal, superior to health removal. I feel like my hand's just like lining up real well against. Ooh, spicy meatball with my own Taiga. I don't even know if it was. It might have been your plateau. I see you're also a man of taste.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. The Pyroblast would have been really nice to throw at Jace, but I think just getting rid of that Uro is needed, to say the least.
Absolutely. Maybe that's what I'm trying to do with my time on Earth as well. Maybe I'm also supposed to be fate sealing you.
Interesting.
Yikes. Okay. Oh dear. Alright, let's think about this. You're in combat. We go to attacks. Alright, so I think the way I have to do this is that. And now if I do it again, it doesn't fucking work like that. You still have enough. I think we punted.
We'll see.
We're furthering our punt by leaving. Oh no, actually, we've got a snappy.
Interesting. I'll fetch first. I was gonna sacrifice a fetch land just to safekeep it, but I do want the shuffle. No shuffle. Okay.
So if I just attack here, you make the dude. We don't want you to have that one, mate. That one's going away.
I won't say the player's name, but there's someone locally who used to always Fate Seal, and if they put a card to the bottom, they would be like, "You can't have that," and then show it to me. Like, what are you doing?
Yikes, 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 Dougal.
I don't know. You got a few good outs here.
The plan was once we did our first swords, The plan was to try and get you to the point where you ran out of lands. It's not a good strategy, but it's a strategy.
One card.
Oh, I was actually surprised that you went for Jace there, but I suppose it makes sense.
Yeah, especially just 2 lands. I don't have too many outs, and like Jace minus on Merit Lage is pretty much just like a Stone Rain.
Fair.
Definitely tough.
One, two, three, and then 5. If you bounce it, it can't get attacked. It can't target, just so you know.
Correct. Nice.
I'm happy that now fetch lands are turned off, so you can't even shuffle redundant pieces away. This is the most MVP Sylvan Safekeeper I've ever seen.
You have 1 card left.
Indeed.
Okay. It's a good question.
Oh no. Oh gosh. Is that all my lands? I think it's all my lands. This seems very strange, but we're doing it.
I shuffled with Green Sun, so I don't need to use the fetch land, which is cool.
Well, we're in trouble.
Definitely close. You can see how long the games go. I mean, I'm at 23 minutes, you're at 12.
Yeah.
And like I feel like it hasn't been that much like on you as well. Like it's been pretty back and forth. But it just shows like how many more triggers and just like things you're about to do with Bant. Especially Uro. Like it does take time to cast an Uro to like pick through your triggers. What you want to exile from the graveyard. That Misty.
And you're back down to 1. Oh wow, this has been an absolute grind.
Oh, that's it.
Damn.
Yeah.
GG.
Extra land. Yeah, really nice.
Excellent.
So I'm obviously on Blue Moon. What do you want?
I'm playing my brew called AirPods. So it's a lands deck that has a whole bunch of different things going on, and it also has a pod line. So
That's
very
cool.
fun. Yeah. It's the deck that we got to the round of 4 last time with.
Nice.
I think this is a keep. I feel so out of practice with all of my Highlander decks at the moment because I've just got so many of them built. It's, I've got 7 in Modo at the moment, so it's more than I've ever had. And they're all current, up to date, feeling sexy.
Yeah, it's nice because I could build like Jund, Blue Moon, and like a mono white kind of D&T list all at once, which is kind of cool.
Sick. I feel like there's definitely underexplored. Alright, am I going to get stifled? No. I feel like there's definitely a bit of underexplored work for like Boros taxes or Boros dudes.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I've played against a, maybe it wasn't red, Lion Sash. I'm gonna respond to that.
We made a bit of a risky play upon reflection. Excuse me. We probably should have fetched a basic, given the name and nature of your deck.
Step.
So, what's our plan, Dougal? What is our plan?
Logak. Bulk. Remand.
Very good.
What do we got?
Spicy meatball. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, it's quite a nice one to exile. Missing land drops is definitely something I don't want to do, hence the rug event for treasure.
Yeah. It's your boy. There it is.
Odds pretty good. I assume there's like a Knight of Autumn, potentially? Or a Dryad? Renegade Rallier. Okay.
Nothing too sexy.
Hmm.
All right. Thank you.
How did you find like humans as a tribe in Highlander?
Loved it. I thought it was great fun.
Do you play like a 5 color build?
It was like 3, but kind of 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abzan?
Gosh, what color was it? It was Sans blue, so,
Okay.
but I think black was the splash mostly. All right. So we can't make this bigger because it kind of sucks. And we loved that we had a conversation about Blood Moon, and yet I still played my Besiege You.
Yeah, it's tough. Sometimes like the land drop is just worth it. Did you have Pod in hand when you had Beseiju?
Yes.
Okay.
You're kidding. Okay. We keep drawing the cards that we need.
Oh, that's cool. You can target yourself.
I think we're just going to go for the win here.
Nice. Yeah, I just got counter spells.
Kiki Jiki was the reload for that, obviously. Yeah, it's a very interesting list because it doesn't it has one basic forest. I've toyed with having a actually, no, that's a lie. It's got a snow-covered island in there too. There you go. But it doesn't have a plains. It's just got those two basics, and it doesn't feel like it's really a deck that worries about Blood Moon, despite being a lands deck. I know that sounds like really counterintuitive, but it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, once the like pod's down, it's really hard to kind of like have a like the blood moon's good, but then you need to do a high pressure, and if you're just
Yeah,
getting value off the pod, then there's not too much I can
yeah,
do,
definitely.
sadly.
It's really interesting actually, just how resilient the deck feels. Sideboarding. That all seems fine. If you're wondering why the Fibblethip is in the deck, Fibblethip lets you draw two cards if you pot a 1-drop into a 2-drop,
Oh,
because
that's
it
cool.
comes from the library, and so it's also like another way. It's much better than excuse me. Sorry, it's not that it's much better than Elvish Reclaimer. It just gives you another tool to use instead of Elvish Visionary, rather, and it's better to pod out into than something like your Icefang Coddle, because it's easier to cast if you're under Blood
Nice.
Moon. But
That's sick.
we're struggling to find our last two cuts.
Hmm.
Oh, excuse me, that's the COVID.
I think this is it. Hmm. Okay. There's actually incentive to get probe now. Special vote during tour 1 drop. Oh, classic. I know, that's all good. Green Sun's take it. Ephemeral Pyroblast. Cool.
I'll play open.
Thank you.
Why you gotta do me like that?
I know, right? Burning Sea is such a cool card. I'm not sure if it still sees playing like in modern, like in.
Oh
in
yeah,
cards.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
it's so good in modern. The one thing I hate about Rhinos is that I can't play that card. It's such a good card.
Jeez, library is a very nice draw.
We knew the risks when we did the rampy.
What do you get for basic?
How dare you?
What do you think of these the set of like basics that my Mountain is from?
I think it's really cool.
Are they from the set boosters?
I think so, yeah.
You know how much they are each?
I do not.
Okay.
Oh, they're like $1 or something, maybe?
Okay, they're not like $5 each or something.
No. We had to try.
Yeah, that's fair. Trying to get some value here. Okay. Ooh, speaking of value.
We like to see all those lands tapped, all those blue ones. Ah. What are we playing around this turn? Miscalculation, mana leak. We're going to be greedy here.
Yeah. Definitely punished for not tapping the mountain or the expressive iteration. Interesting.
I genuinely think Life from the Loam is like probably the best starting point for any control deck now. You can just build any blue, red, green control deck, just any color combination really. And if you go Life from the Loam and then maybe Ren and 6, you don't even need it for like it's for the card advantage. It's not for the lands, quote unquote.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a big brainstorm every turn.
Oh, that's not very nice, man.
Sadly, that is it.
Wow. We don't have the fucking mana. Oh, oh dear.
Omnath?
Yep.
Classic. What you got?
Guppy.
Yeah, the strip block's tough. I had big plans next turn.
Big plans. Oh man, what do you call it? Got like the spreading seas. Amazing.
Yes, he's gonna be very strong. Just make things awkward for long enough.
We're a bit sad. We could have ephemerated with an extra white mana to get a third strip mine, but sadly only 2 in one turn.
Yeah, strip is disgusting. Just tough. I think we got it. As a player who's played a few competitive events in paper, how would you feel about a normal event that once top 8 starts, obviously this depends on a few factors, time especially, if the top 8 was best of 5, so
I would love that.
First 2 unsideboarded, last 3 sideboarded. I'd love to see a score trial it and see how it goes. I think those matches are really, really fun, especially for modern, which I'm not sure now, but it used to be known as like the sideboard format. Like you just have so many big silver bullets in the sideboard that decks like Affinity or Infect had to win those game 1s or like Burn to then make sure you can try to get like a game 2 or 3
Yeah, I would love to play best of 5 formats. Like, I gravitate towards... Excuse me, sorry, my COVID is still affecting me a bit. I gravitate a bit towards... this is a terrible keep. What were we thinking? We're starting to feel a bit tired. Yeah, I gravitate towards decks that, like, I don't care about having, like, amazing matchups. I just want, like, as close to a coin flip on every single... Hey, there we go. On every single match that I can get. Like, yeah, I'd happily play, like, just a mediocre deck if it's just, like, nothing is, like, gonna give me a bad matchup. I just want to try and outskill my opponent rather than, not getting, like, cheesy wins, but just, yeah, I'd rather just get good, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It's always tough. I'm playing a challenge right now from a fan. Shout out to Maverick Joe, who's challenged me with trophying within 5 leagues with Bant Maverick for $300, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
And it's a tough one because I'm trying to balance like cards like Stifle or Hull Breacher, which can just like kind of snipe a game out of nowhere.
Yep.
Balancing those kind of cards in the main deck and sideboard, because Bant, obviously Maverick's a pretty fair deck, and Bant itself is pretty fair as well. You don't have access to like Pyroblast like red decks do, or something like Plague Engineer like black decks do. So you need to find, like, I don't know, you need to find your ways to win, like maybe cheese out a win, and sometimes Stifle can be the card to do that.
Yep. I feel ya. Alright, so this plays around days. And it's also the best way to do the mana drain thing. Okay.
No thing but a mana drain.
If you Blood Moon us next turn, that Besieger isn't going to matter because we don't have a forest then, so we'll pass the turn. Oof. Yeah, this is an awkward amount of single mana. Here it comes. Yep. It's a terrible keep.
Tough as well, because like, I guess you don't have green mana. I was gonna say, like, you attack, it's like, do they have Ren? Oh, classic.
I think you got me, mate.
We'll see. I mean, this is kind of the same thing. Like, having, like, Blood Moon effects or back to basic effects in Highlander can just really get people, especially in formats like Brisbane, where there are a lot of players who like to play like 4, if not 5 color decks.
It was a very ambitious keep. I'm starting to feel the fatigue set in, sadly.
Are you playing Sahili?
Yes.
Right? Okay, that's cool.
So I think we've got 3 outs. Four outs. Yeah, the difference between this deck working under Blood Moon and not is the basic forest.
Yeah, that's fair. I remember our top 4 match. You landed a Blood Moon against me, the Blood
Oh
Moon player,
yeah.
when I was on a bug, and it just like sometimes it lines up, sometimes it just doesn't.
Yeah.
It'd be really tough.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Especially 'cause I got a grist down, and then I remember it milled my Force of Vigor, and I was like, "That's my out." That's
Shit. So I've got both Felidar and Saheeli in my hand, which is exactly what you want under Blood Moon.
What's the go with burn right now in modern?
Oh, sorry, mate.
All good. I would assume that like Boros burn is the main burn deck at the moment.
Yeah, it took a big hit with Lurrus getting banned.
Okay.
But I couldn't tell you what the... I seem to do okay versus no matter what I'm playing, really, but I play decks with counterspells, so
There you
hard to know. Alright, I think we've had enough punishment there.
go. Yeah, it's tough.
Oh, man.
What sort of outs do you run to things like Magus or Blood Moon or Back to Basics in their deck?
So, with the list, basically, if we get the sorry, mate. With the list, if we get the basic forest, we've got access to 4 dorks. So we've got Noble, Ignoble, Birds of Paradise, and Elvish Reclaimer.
Nice.
We have our Sylvan Library, which helps us draw into things. We've got our Renin 6, which we can cast. We've got our Sylvan Scrying, which can help us get our blue mana. We've got Life from the Loam that can help us ramp up. We've got Pod that lets us, obviously, unlocks us completely. But then we can also just, like, Green Sun Zenith with 1 green. We can get Slogurk and Uro out with the 1 green, 1 blue combo. And it's mostly just the... Oh, sorry, Calling Oracle, I guess you could call kind of a dork as well. Yep. But it's mostly that our deck is so green that it's not really too much of an issue. And so, we don't really need anything else if we just get our pod. I was experimenting with some things like Fury in the sideboard to bring in for for Blood Moon matches. I think if we sort of played some more games post board with the reasonable keep, I don't really think there's that much of an issue, just because we can kind of flit around on the axis that we need to. But it's definitely tough under Blood Moon sometimes. I think in the last Toowoomba event where I top 4'd with this list, I got out from under Blood Moon in 3 or 4 instances throughout the day, and took away the series. And so I definitely feel like it does well versus Blood Moon in general, because there's just so many things that you just you can't really stop once we have that basic forest. But yeah, it's definitely trickier. I think the the way that the sort of cadence of the deck is, like having one threat versus a Blood Moon deck, you lose a lot of tempo, obviously slapping out the moon or the magus. And just the toolbox that we have available. And there's a lot of, I guess, situations where you can create false attacks. Like people think that they're safe, for an attack or a block with the magus. You pointed out the really good one with Ren and 6, blocking a 1/1 and then getting pinged by Ren and 6. And just doing things like blinking a Soul Herder that you've potted, or, they blood mooned you, but you sort of just have that critical mass already there. I think the big splashy one is being able to just green suns with Blood Moon, because all of our scary things are green. So yeah, that's, I think, the big one.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you run like the Outland Liberator or Night of Autumn?
Yes, I run Outland Liberator in the side. I didn't bring it in versus you. It's actually more for artifact matchups than it is for Moon. That said, probably would have been a good bring in for you. I think I would love to play I'd love to play a rematch. So I think next time we do a night like this, we can have a rematch and see how we go.
Yeah, dude, you can just come over. We can play in paper, have some beers.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's very true. We both have these decks in paper. Oh, that's the other one, Season Pyromancer.
Nice.
So
Yeah, Pyromancer's very cool.
You Season Pyromancer to dig, and that's like one of the other big things that Moon is great with.
Yeah, because the basic forest is an interesting point, because I obviously don't like basics. And there was a point where I was thinking of like strip mine in the deck, but I feel like Spreading Seas is a perfect like middle ground, because it allows me to deal with basics. It replaces itself. It's a blue card for forces, which is cool. And yeah, it can really stump players, especially with triomes in the format. There's like a lot more players playing like cards like Triome, where taking them off, especially if it's a non-blue Triome, and you hit it with a Spreading Seas, it feels pretty good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love the triomes. Rishadan Port's another one. Like if they're doing like the taxes thing, and you're just like, oh, cool. Like now it's an island. Like
Exactly.
that's really nice to just like stop them from locking. It's such a versatile card. I just can't get enough of Spreading Seas in any format, really. I should run it in this deck.
Yeah, especially because you can target yourself as well if you need the extra blue for something like a Force Negation or an Archmage's Charm, like Cryptic, to turn like a fetch land or a dual land into a island post Blood Moon effect is pretty cool.
Yeah, or even if you just need to like you've got dead fetches, and you're like, all right, I'll just, it's now an island, not a fetch land that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's super flexible. Also flickers to Yorion, and the return to battlefield isn't targeted, so they can't respond to it, and you can like do really weird shit with it, which I think is very cool.
Yeah, that is sick. That is really cool.
Yeah, because it's not being cast, and because it's an aura, and aura's target on cast, your opponent doesn't get a chance to respond to. They can respond to the trigger, but not once it's entered the battlefield. Like it can't be like, oh, this is back on the battlefield now, and it's going to be attached to that. They can't like respond to the targeting, or because there is no targeting process with it. So like if they've got a fetch land that you can see that, like maybe you had it on like a jewel, and that like was locking them out of a color, and now they've got like access to something else that keeps that color access, then you can have it enter and like block a different color or something like that. Super fringe, but probably comes up every now and again.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Hey, thank you very much for joining me tonight. It was really good to jam a couple of games in a whole range of formats. It was really fun having you on.
No, more than welcome. Really nice to be on. And I think I could have provided a little bit more commentary between games, but at the end of a work day, especially on Monday, it's always quite tough to like make the optimal play, but also talk through your line.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel you with that, mate. I feel you. Beautiful.
Yeah, I think we're pretty lucky to be in a city like Brisbane, where there's such a good Highlander scene as well.
Yes. Absolutely. It's I was secretly excited to hear that Highlander isn't happening on Wednesday because obviously with me with COVID, I can't make it this week, but I will be out of isolation by next week. So I'm going to be making it next week.
Very cool. That's awesome. A quick shout out as well to anyone still listening from Australia and wanting to get into Highlander or play some sort of big Eternal Weekend League. Eternal Weekend in Melbourne this year is back on, which is very cool. So that is on the Queen's long weekend, Queen's birthday long weekend, which is June 8th, 9th, and 10th in Melbourne. And you can find more information for that from the Ringwood Games Portal, I believe, store
I think
page.
that's right. Yep.
Yeah, but I'm sure that if you know some people who play Eternal, they should know about Eternal Weekend coming up. So yeah, hopefully
We've got a big crew.
some of you there.
I think there'll be a good 15 or 20 of us heading down, I'd say. So
Yeah,
very
which
exciting.
is pretty sweet. And
Very
yeah, kind of cool to see them as well get modern into the format.
Yes,
With
yes.
Vintage being pushed back to just a Friday night event, and the main three being Legacy, 7 Highlander, and Modern.
Yes, I cannot wait for that. The fiance has agreed to me having some boy time with the lads down in Melbourne, so I'll be free for a couple of days to just, live the wild and crazy life that we have of playing card games all weekend.
Nice. Yeah,
Fantastic.
Yeah, a huge thank you for having me on.
No, my pleasure. Thanks very much, Dougal. And check out Dukes. What days do you stream typically?
Typically Thursday nights at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time and Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. But it does differ. If you want to find consistent content, you can definitely check out my YouTube channel, just Dougesontwitch on YouTube, because there's where all the uploads go. So.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on, Diggs, and we'll chat next time.
You're welcome. Thanks, Matt.